You gonna swim? Come on, the water's nice.
No, I...
Come swim with us. They're my friends. Come on.
They're idiots. I don't go swimming with idiots.
Jerk.
What on earth made me say I don't go swimming with idiots?
Nemo,
Yeah,
how have you been?
I'm fine. How are you?
Yeah, good.
Are these your kids?
Yeah. Well, see you around.
Yeah, I'll see you around.
What on earth made me say I don't go swimming with idiots?
You gonna swim? Come on, the water's nice.
No, I don't know how to swim.
Sorry?
I don't know how to swim. That's it. Please don't tell anyone.
Hey, aren't you gonna swim? No, I've got my period. I'm gonna stay here. Nemo will keep me company. Okay.
I fucking hate her to death. I fucking hate her to death. She's incredible, unforgettable, undeniable, breathtaking. I'm furious. She's so mysterious. I'm curious, earth shaking. She's always right every time. I fucking hate her to death. She gives me sight, though I'm blind. I fucking hate her to death. She's always saving my life, but she don't belong to me. She tells me things are alright, but she don't belong to me. I try to follow her light, but she don't belong to me. I feel her venomous bite, 'cause she don't belong to me. She's funny, she's shining, she's happy. I fucking hate her to death. She's caring, she's fine, she's smiling. I fucking hate her to death. I want you off this planet. I fucking hate her to death. You don't want me here, I just can't stand it. I fucking hate her to death. I fucking hate her to death. She's unbelievable, unachievable, inconceivable, breathtaking. She's incredible, unforgettable, unregrettable, earth shaking. I see her wings and halo of it. I fucking hate her to death. I'd be happy
All right, guys. So, bit of a heavier conversation tonight. Like I've kind of mentioned before in my video to Eric, which if you haven't seen, you should really go check out. Been going to therapy, and it's just been bringing up some shit as therapy does. But being back in my home state, I've really had to think about a lot. I just made a comment probably 15, 20 minutes before filming this, actually. There was somebody on the comment section of one of my posts for the video Eugene Has Fallen, which I would encourage everybody to go listen to. It's an AI song, but made me cry, so. But he's like, I wish I could get out of Eugene. And part of me wanted to cheer him on and to just be like, yeah, fuck Eugene, fuck Oregon, all this shit. But I had to be real with him, and I was just like, man, I feel so lonely in Texas. I feel safer, but I feel lonely. And it's really weird. Like, I'm driving through a community where it's like, as paranoid as I am to see all these cops, it's like I'm happy to see cops when I'm driving down the road, because Oregon, it's just like borderline nothing, especially after BLM. There was at least a lot more of a presence prior, but it's just like, I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to get pulled over, because I know some of these cops are dicks and they're going to pull me over for going 3 over the speed limit. But thank God there's police. I'm really grateful for the safety, but I've found it very hard to connect with people. I'm autistic as shit, like literally diagnosed. Like, that's one of the ones where I'm just like, it's why I'm able to do what I do. I just look at things differently. But people down here, this is how bad the COVID policies were. People down here, for all the shutdowns and all the craziness that happened, they had it so fucking good. And I didn't realize how good they had it. I mean, I knew they did, but people aren't as broken here. People aren't as lost. People don't have as many crazy stories to share. It's still life as usual for a lot of people in these small towns in North Texas. And I'm so grateful for that, and I want to help preserve that. But hard to connect. And sometimes I just find myself only talking about things that happen up there because I just don't want to see a repeat down here, which I already feel like I see the warning signs for. In the workplace, out and about, like, it's just there's certain things happening that I have already experienced as the precursor to in Oregon, like things going unaddressed, things sliding by, certain permissibilities be given. Oh, we have to be nice to these people. And that's cool for a year, 2, 3, despite the fact a bunch of people get hurt in the meantime. But once it hits a certain threshold, it becomes the culture. And that culture is built on rape and drugs and alcohol and trauma. And I mean, here, I'm still struggling with it. I got a beer right here. Before I posted my video at JD Delay, I was like, yeah, I'm going to try to quit. And I've been drinking for a few months, and even there's still some people who, they see me as like this beacon of sobriety, I feel like, in the comments. And just like, I feel like such a letdown to them, because I feel so fucking broken. But one of the ways that I alleviate that feeling of being broken is I do everything in my power to fight back against the forces that brought harm to me, my community, others, that allowed me to become this embodied token of dishing out pain and anger and wrath and hatred to my community. It's such a slippery slope. This is what communism, Marxism does. I could say in terms of my job, one of the biggest problems, my bosses always use this term equity. It's equitable, it's equitable, it's equitable. And meanwhile, my bosses get lazier and lazier and lazier, and they outsource all of their work to computers. Computers that axe really good people from the roster. Computers that don't take into account situations like, in my case, you know, I can barely walk because I had a herniated disc at one point, and I felt like blacking out, and it took me crying to one of my bosses, leaned over like, I have to go home. I have to go home. My legs are about to turn off. That's how bad I have pain in my herniated disc. I've literally been driving and my legs are paralyzed. And I don't feel my legs anymore. And it's really fucking weird. And but it's all the system. It's all the system, if you don't limp yourself around a cart, you lose your job. And I've fought through so much of this, and that's what the beast is. And people think I'm some paranoid Dale Gribble conspiratorial type character, but it's just like, no, our lives become in control of computers and systems because the humanity is stripped out of everything. And the only way that I feel like I can alleviate that stress is to feel like I'm fighting back. So I've fought back against Antifa. I fought back against the Eugene Police Department. I fought back against, people at my job. I've fought back against so many people because I understand pain. And when I see things in the news and I see these riots and these shootings, when I see people like Luigi and I see people like Renee Good and I see people like all this, I understand it. And I think it's evil, but I also hurt because I understand it. I understand evil. I understand wanting to dish out pain because I've been an evil, sadistic son of a bitch. You go back to the root of a lot of my trauma that you can tell throughout the videos. It's when I'm going to live with my father. And, the reason I had to go live with my father is I was mean to a girl that I had a crush on. Little neighbor girl next door. I don't use real names on here. I'll just call her Jessica. I was so fucked up to this girl. I had a crush on the neighbor girl. And, head over heels, I wrote this girl poetry, But, I was very out of shape. I was going through a long series of medications. I was mentally behind a lot of the other people. They used to tell me when I used to go to therapists and doctor's appointments, it's going to take you a couple of years to catch up. I think at one point I was told an actual estimate of 3 to 4 years. What people typically learn at about, say, age 16, you're going to learn at 19. And I thought I was cynical, but just look at my Antifa story. So, I acted like I loved this girl, wanted to be with her, and the way our houses were faced, I had my bedroom window, there was her bedroom window, and then I'd text her and I'd be like, hey, I see you. Creep shit. Creepy red flag shit. Don't do this, kids. But, we were that close, and we'd hang out every day, and we'd go outside, watch, Rob Zombie movies and TV shows and shit like that. But, I got weird. I got touchy. I got feely. I invaded her space. She had a boyfriend, and to me at the time, that boyfriend was my mortal enemy. Fuck this guy. I could treat her so much better than he can treat her. And it got so bad. He was a tougher guy than me. He could have beat my fucking ass, so I had to be a sneaky, snarky little bitch about it. But it got so bad at one point, I created a fake social media account in his name and just started shit talking her. I love this girl so much, I'm willing to destroy her. And it got so bad to where his father threatened to get the local police department involved and to launch an online series of investigations because he knew it was me. But yet, when he always came up to me and tried to square up about her to call me out, I always acted like he was the fucking problem. So, eventually it got so bad to where the reason I got kicked out of my mother's house and had to go live with my father, who there's a lot of stories you guys already know. You'll learn more in due time. But, I was going out and sneaking cigarettes, going out into the cornfield next to the high school, and I would steal my adoptive father's vapes and his e-cigarettes and all that shit. And then sometimes I'd sneak away to get my hands on real cigarettes, typically through stealing. I would go to different friends' houses, steal their video games, DVDs, books, because I was often going to entertainment stores anyways, and I knew that there was typically a pawn availability. So I'd make friends with people and I'd steal from them in order to fuel my habits. And this would have been age 14, 15, something like that. But she called me out about it in front of my little brother. I remember being so angry that this bitch would dare have the audacity to villainize me in front of my little sibling. He's supposed to look up to me. He's my friend. How dare you make me look like the bad guy? Even though she's just like had enough of my shit and she called me out. So I started screaming at her. I started lashing out. I think I started punching the wall. Went all Kyle mode and shit, You stupid fucking bitch. Get the fuck out of my house. How dare you villainize me to my little brother? You stupid fucking cunt. You need to learn your fucking place. Slamming shit. And right outside the door, my parents and her parents and a couple of the neighbors were out. They had lawn chairs, and they're all gathered in the neighborhood, just having a powwow, drinking some beers, bullshit about life. And they're just all like, what the fuck? Because she's screaming and she's crying. She's like, get away from me. Don't touch me. All this shit. And I'm just like, fuck this dumb whore. This stupid fucking slut. And I just started saying all these nasty things under the sun. And my mother gave a call to my biological father at that point. And she knew I had been in contact with him for probably about a month or two. But there's a few months before where she had no idea we were in contact and he was essentially grooming me. But she called him and she's like, I don't know what to do with him anymore. Like, I feel like he's going to be happier with you. And then, there was a fight around that time. It might have been the same night. The memories get hazy. But I'm screaming at my mother about something. Bear in mind, my mother has been abused, beaten, raped, molested, all the shit. And I'm screaming at her, and I'm getting in her face. I had no intention to put my hands on her. So I didn't have any understanding why she reacted the way she did to me. And she starts screaming at me, get away, get away, get away from me, don't touch me, don't hit me, don't hit me. And I'm like, I'm not trying to hit you. Get out of the way. I'm trying to get through the door. Like I was trying to storm out of the house. And when I try to do that, she grabs me by the wrist. And she pins me back. And I've never seen this level of ferocity in my mother before. And she's stronger than me. I was a big kid. She was full force. This little ass fucking 5 foot something woman. She's tiny. She's tinier than me. She said, fuck you. Calm down. And I struggled past her, and I made my way through the hallway. And my stepfather, my real father, I'd like to throw in there, this is the man I consider to be my real father. This is a real man. The real one who took care of me. He didn't know what was happening. She's just crying. She's thinking that I was attacking her. And he tries to get me going out the door. And he's just like, I have had enough of your shit. I've had enough of this bad behavior. I've had enough of your outburst. This is done. He wasn't beating me, but he was trying to pin me down and say, enough, enough, enough. And I fought back against him. And then she gets involved because she's trying to defend him. And at one point, I tackle her, and she's on the ground crying. And then a series of events follows. Skim forward, maybe a few days, a few weeks, I don't remember. But I'm being sent to live with my father down in South Texas. I learned, I think, about 3 months later, talking to my mother after the announcement that she was pregnant with my little sister. And when she got tackled, my little sister was inside of her. And that hurt. But by that point, I had already known with my father that things were going south. It was like he went from my best friend to my mortal enemy immediately, my biggest bully, my biggest hater. There was a part of him I think wanted to try to be a good father, but he was trying to create a situation ultimately in which he was manufacturing a reestablishment of his relationship with my mother. He had a very toxic relationship with me. It was emotionally incestuous. Now, my father never molested me. You know, I talk about all those types of subjects on the channel. My father never touched me. There was a lot of weird things that happened, to be sure, in that house. A lot of weird things, and even on his part. But I was never raped or touched by him. But, you know, it was more emotional. It was more like he could tell me everything on the planet. Right down to the fact that, sure, I'm with your stepmother now, but I love your mother, and I'd leave your stepmother for your mother in a heartbeat. I still love her. Simultaneously saying, I'd like to sit down with your stepfather and have a beer with him to thank him for raising you. So he had to manipulate what other people were seeing in order to create the outcome that he wanted other people to perceive. So, you know, I wasn't allowed to talk with my friends from back then. There was a certain point I wanted to text this girl, Jessica, and I wanted to be like, hey, I'm so sorry for the way that I fucking treated you. Like, that was fucked up. Because I was beginning to see the same patterns in my father in the way that he would control my stepmother. And he was very, very abusive to her. He got with her, I think, when she was 16 or 15, groomed her in a tattoo shop. I think I might have been 17 or 18 when we celebrated her 21st birthday. And my father was tattooing, and I went with her to H-E-B to get her first legal drink, which I think was a bottle of wine. So that's how young she was. And I think we only have about 4-ish years age difference. Really nice, though. We're still very, very, very tight. I still consider her my family. But I didn't for a minute. You know, I didn't understand the abusive pattern she was going through. My father tried to make me a spy because he's just like, this bitch is cheating on me and she's fucking running around on me. You know, to her credit, and I don't mean this in a weird way, she was one of the prettiest girls in town. So, like, she dressed pretty and walked around, always had her makeup done and all that. And yeah, there was always guys checking her out. And that pissed my father off so bad, to where he always sent me to be his secret agent and be like, report back. And then I just feed him bullshit because I'm just like, she's just hanging out, dude. You've had me here for 3 hours. She's just been chilling, talking about life, you know? So I got to see that angry side. But because of the way my father was abusing me and treating me, you know, I couldn't have friends. my father would interrogate my friends, interrogate me about my friends constantly. It's like I was in a prison. I wasn't allowed to go anywhere unless it was running errands for him or the tattoo shop. He'd be like, you can walk across town and you can go to Dollar General and you can get me gloves, paper towels, all this, but you have to be back in 30 minutes, so hurry your fat ass up. I'd be like, well, fuck, at least I get to get out of the house for a little bit. And there was a couple occasions where I got to see friends, and I really cherished those moments. You know, there was a moment I even got to make a short film with some friends. It was kind of Star Wars themed. I deleted that video at one point, but maybe I'll repost it. I only deleted it because Antifa's nonsense. But it was just a total system of control. And you know, the story of my father that I'm sure a lot of you guys know about already. If you haven't, just scroll through, click the abuse videos. A lot of it's there. But he groomed me so well that I thought my stepmother was my enemy, even though I had laid witness to this abuse. Because I thought she was a flying monkey, when in reality she was just a victim being manipulated just the same as I was. So after I left him, after he threatened to shoot up my high school, after he threatened to murder my grandmother, murder my mother, a lot of horror stories under the sun, I was living in Waco, and he's just going off one night about something, and I just had so much of his shit. This is one of the nastiest moments of my life. I felt threatened, and I felt like I had to be the meanest monkey, because what I learned from him over time was the only way to get people to back off is to act meaner, even though you know you're damn well not. So I basically texted him back, and something to the degree of I was going to tie him down, stab him up, keep him breathing. And then I was going to tie down my stepmother, and I was going to rape her with a butcher knife. And I was going to bathe in her blood while he watched and faded out of existence. You know, I'm a juggalo. I listen to ICP. I'm used to really fucked up, twisted, creative lyrics, and I was just like, this is the most nasty shit I can possibly think of. Fuck you and fuck your little bitch. I got a screenshot back of a police report, which it just, in my head, I was just like, how fucking dare you? Like, you're the one who fucked me over. And, you know, I'm living at my aunt's house at the time, and I'm freaking out about it, and I'm just like, fuck you, you've been baiting me into saying something, and now you fucking got me to say something. Fuck you, I'm gonna fucking kill you, I'm gonna fucking murder you. And I'm going off, and I'm ranting to my cousins about it, and I'm telling them. And my aunt had really big windows. She had a 2-story house, and all of a sudden I see police lights. And I was just like, fuck. So my cousin starts crying, runs to his room. I go downstairs, I open the door, and I walk out. I don't even fucking fight it. I got my fucking hands in the air. I walk out to the front lawn past the driveway, and I have my head down, and I look up, and there's an ambulance in front of me across the street. I don't remember her name, but she was a really nice old neighbor lady across the street. She had a heart attack. Right at that moment, they showed up. So I just kind of, hey, okay? Like, I kind of just snap into a different character. And I'm like, what happened to her? And not even really a character, because I like really cared about this woman. She's such a nice lady. I make friends with all my neighbors. But yeah, she had a heart attack, and they're wheeling her out on a gurney and shit. And I just go back into the house, and my heart's still racing. And my cousin comes down the stairs, and I explain what happened. And he's just like, man, when I ran out, I went to my room, and I just fell on my knees, and I started praying for you. And, you know, I saw the sins of my father not just only after the fact, but there's this girl in high school, and she was about maybe a year younger than me, a year and a half. I was keeping the relationship secret because, of course, my dad was just a complete psychopath, and also I didn't trust him not to hit on her. So, kept it secret. He steals my phone one day, goes through my text, and, he asked me why I was asking about this girl's gynecologist. And he's freaking out, and he's just like, why would you be talking to a girl about this? Why would you be talking to a girl about this? You're doing the same thing I did. Because him and my mom had me when they were anywhere from, like, I think 15 to 17. Like, they were still in high school. So he's freaking out about that, and he's projecting, and I'm just sitting here like, because she had cancer and because she was making sure that there was nothing coming back, because she spent years of her life with her head shaved bald. To which, of course, he didn't want to believe. But as a result, I had to please my father, right? So I kept close because I wanted the companionship, but I just started being a dick to her. And I come to school one day, she's got a turtleneck on. And I was like, this is weird. I was like, what's going on under the turtleneck, right? Nothing. All right, well, usually when people say that, they go, nothing. She pulled it down, and she had hickeys all over her neck. And we'd only been together like a few weeks, and it was hand-holding. We went on some field trips. We held each other really close on the bus, snuggled a few times. We'd go sit under the steps. I'd hold her close. We'd watch videos. She was really into the Juggalo shit too. But nothing ever sexual, which, like I mentioned earlier, always a couple years behind. Maybe there was a part of me that should have been a hornier high schooler, but I was just happy to have somebody next to me. Yeah, once I saw that, I lashed out at her, quite frankly, in the same way my father would have lashed out at my stepmother if he had realized she was cheating, which, again, she never was. But I embodied my father because, again, I was trying to impress him always. It was like I was like a little Draco Malfoy trying to look good to fucking Lucius. Everybody in town knew my dad as the fucking tattoo man. There was kids in my high school that had been tattooed by my father. He was like the only tattoo guy in town. So everybody knew him. And I used his name as a way to protect myself against bullies or seeming like an outsider. It's like, okay, I know you don't know me, but you know my dad. You've known him for years, right? So I got in really good with everybody. But no, I treat her like shit. And then a couple months later, me and my friends learned that she had been seeing this guy. He was a client of my dad's. I remember specifically he came in for a tattoo one point of Heath Ledger's Joker right on his shoulder. He worked at the HEB there. We saw him all the time. Fat, grungy, sleazy fucking Mexican dude. And apparently he was hooking up with her and grooming her and molesting her. And it became the talk of the school because I was one of the people that made it the talk of the school. She'd always walk by, we'd be like, 30-year-old, 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 30-year-old. And we'd just be fucking dropping his name and shit, and we'd shame her. And I laughed about it, and I was so fucking cruel about it, despite the fact I pushed her into that. Now, when things were going on with my father and we were sending each other death threats and there was a whole separation period of just pure insanity and it was like a family war, he got mad and he decided to manipulate the situation. He wanted to seem better. He didn't want to make it seem like he abused his child or his girlfriend. So he just started spreading stories around town. I began receiving phone calls and death threats and text messages from all sorts of people in town. Staying with my stepmother. I received death threats from the Mexican mafia. I received death threats from multiple gangsters because that's how well he was connected. He was blackmailing us into oblivion to the point where I was told, if we ever see you in town again, my boys are going to roll up on you and we're going to gun down you and anybody else with you. Like, you will not leave this town and survive. That's the level to which he took his anger. But no, she broke up with him in due time. And I saw a picture a couple of years down the line. She wound up with a fucking psychotic motherfucker, another juggalo. He was a skinny Latino dude. He had to be fucking 50 pounds soaking wet. And I saw a photo once and he's in a wife beater. And he had like a tattooed clown makeup, the fucking lines, the hatchets, all that crazy shit. But he looked like borderline. He looked like a Juggalo MS-13 member. It was just like psychotic. And I realized that I had pushed this girl down such a dangerous road when I should have been her fucking friend. And something happened recently, similar, a couple months ago. I was visiting the area I used to live in, and I was wandering around going through a store. And I ran into Jessica. We were in a garden department of the store that I was buying some things at. And I saw her, and I looked to the ground. I was like, fuck. And then I kind of wander around for a second. I look up, and then all of a sudden, she'd been staring at me. We locked eyes. She recognized me instantly. She was uncomfortable. And I felt so much shame. And, she left the area, disappeared, and, I was talking to my mom later, and, the way I alleviate my pain sometimes is I just have to make a fucked up joke. But, I was like, oh, yeah, I saw Jessica today. She's looking a little out of shape, huh? And, my mom responded, and she's like, yeah, I would imagine she's had 2 kids. My mom's way of saying, I raised you better than disrespect women like that. She did. And I felt like I got hit in the face like a sack of bricks. I was repeating the same bullshit patterns. The guy she had 2 kids with, it's not to dox him. It's just I have to say his name to describe the similarities and the significance behind it. His name was Tyler. Just like Charlie Kirk's killer. And, I tell you guys the significance of, it's not quite on the date, but close enough. I started speaking out on September 11th of 2024. I'm retarded with dates. I'm pretty sure it's 2024. I was saying I'd been doing this for a year at one point, but it was actually 2. I think that was it. But no, essentially, Charlie Kirk's assassination happened then, and it's one of the things that made me want to keep doing the channel, because I'm like, here's this guy with my name, my ideology, and he just took out Charlie Kirk. All the significance under the sun, how that applies to me, my channel, my message, all that. This feels like the universe is talking to me. This feels like a synchronicity. Well, now she's with this guy with my name, and they have 2 kids and a happy family. I think he went to go serve in the military for a little bit. Good for him. He was actually a really good friend of mine for a minute. I used to go to his house. We would play Halo Reach. His parents were a little more well-to-do than mine, so they had the fancy shit, and he just had a really good setup. So I remember he had a Halo Reach map. If I remember right, I think he created like a Star Destroyer from Star Wars, and it was just like so intricate. He was a fucking nerd. Like, he was a really cool guy. But I think about that a lot. The 2 lives I could have had. The life in which I could have had a family, or the life in which I would have committed a political murder and become a national tragedy. And I feel like my position is currently I'm just in the middle. And I think that's where a lot of my pain is coming from. Why so much of my content lately has been geared towards the protection and understanding of women and children is we don't think about it enough, especially men. We act on our impulses. And we think we're doing something good for ourselves. We think we're finding love and affection. But in reality, we're preying on people. Now, of course, this isn't something I do anymore. You know, some people out there might be like, well, this is why you're gay and this and that and the other, and, you know, you should revert back from your ways. And yeah, I think it's probably the reason why I did skew a little towards men after a minute is, you know, in reality, I'm bisexual. The reason I say gay a lot is because there was a shaming for a long time that it's bi people didn't matter. So it's like you almost had to pick a team, and psychologically there's just something that stuck. But no, it's like, yeah, that's probably why I turned off for women for a while, because I treated them like shit. But as a result, you know, being a bisexual gay guy, most of my friends became women. And it turned out most of them had another tie in their life. In fact, most of them had legions of ties in their life. Men trying to grope them, blackmail their boyfriends, create fake relationship scenarios, you know, stare at them through the fucking window, lash out at them when things don't go their way. And for all the criticisms about homosexuality and the LGBT community and all this, I can at least say I understand women now more than I ever did. And it's one of the reasons I get so angry when I see them being targeted. Because I feel like I owe it to people like Jessica, to the girl in high school, to all the ladies in my life that I've tossed aside and treated like shit. And nobody deserves guys to treat them like that. And the sad reality is a lot of those girls go on into gangs, domestic terror groups, cults. And the same could be said for the guys. So you have predatory behavior, and then you have a mixture of abuse and trauma moving in with it, and they operate in correlation, and then they create these crazy, crazy things to which the outside public just looks at it like a fucking circus, and they're like, well, what is this? And then I'm just trying to sit here and be like, it's shitty behavior that's driving all this. It's the inability to look in the mirror, the inability to see the split histories of what your life could have been and what it still could be. To realize you're always looking down the train tracks, and that things are always splitting, and that you always have a choice. And too many people are taking the wrong choice. And in time, that is what creates a villain. Is you took the wrong path for too long. So I've hurt a lot of people, and that's why I'm here. It's because I became a villain. And why when I see villainy, I'm able to snuff it out and detect it quicker. Because I've been that person. Now, I've never been a pedophile, but I've been a sleazy piece of shit. I've been a junkie. I've been a slut. I've been an alcoholic. I've been a domestic terrorist. You know? And that's why I'm so passionate about what I do. Is so that we can create a world where we can stop that shit. And why I talk to so many crazy people like I do. Because it's going to take dark, crazy, twisted individuals to get these answers. So, just another confessional for you guys, a little more to my story. But, dude, all the guys out there, start treating these ladies better. Start treating them with respect. Start realizing that if you've been told no more than once, it means no. It means fucking no. You don't know what sort of world of hurt you're going to get yourself in if you do not pick up on those signals. So, food for thought. All right, you guys. Peace and love. Thank you for hearing me out. Y'all have a great night.
So, Nemo, have you made up your mind? Do you want to come with me?